Well, but, we got more room than that. And now I'm gonna do it from the smart board. That's a Lexi.
How are you? Exactly, yeah. I know, I remember that. That's the first I didn't Still don't have the years, so we still have. I don't know. I have not been briefed on the setup.
Perfect. Well, I didn't know. I'm sure you don't.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna show you.
All over again. So the mom is a fan of life.
Yes.
It was harder.
Get rid of some. Well, my boss.
Do you feel all versed and such and all that?
So you gotta run.
You're the IT guy.
All of a sudden it's all coming out.
Right, yeah, because we wanted to run tests to make sure everything.
You're gonna
was sorry, right.
I'm gonna check with the guy from, that we're kind of.
Yes.
I heard this Cindy went on for a extended lunch and then came back. Years older, so cranky.
Don't have alternates that are free and.
Yeah, I see that updated email right now.
Yeah, it's all right
Great time to be your first meeting. Everyone, like the culmination meeting plus like all the, well, she's individual. Yeah. And this is Lisa, by the way.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Kathy already like, you have to meet her, talk about wrestling. Yeah, because I did see on Facebook, they had like a tournament or something.
Yeah, my son is a kid's team, so he just redshirted in the varsity. So we were almost Davis. He's pretty rarely in Tennessee. And so there were 10 matches, and my son was the only one that won. It was great. I know, I like to see it. I would like to be
The red shirt.
Are they fine? Why is it? Because not much pressure. Okay. Is it a little bit less pressure or just? I think you could get hurt, especially wrestling, where it's like, oh man, here. These guys are in the 30s. Yeah, now it's so much for that idea, right? They lasted 5 days. It got I hurt. I remember.
No, I can't do it.
I had bicycles and they're trying out. Really bicycles, they're like. Both ones just on the same eye. How does that work out?
Really?
Near and far, I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea. I was getting ready to order them, and now I'm just gonna think about this longer. So I wanted to order, I didn't know, I'm gonna look.
Walking in
I
circles.
think I'm in the driveway, actually, I was over. I've never done that before, but I think it's. I'm gonna try to say it.
Balance.
I don't know, it's not. You know, it's broadcast on Big Ten Plus Network, so I just got to watch that. So cool. Like, and, yeah, they were, I think the other guy was good. Yeah, so it was the best day. I mean, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but it was just super, it was so neat. And since a lot of people here, you know, we're just from here, so it's a big cheering session, like at least 200 people. Yeah, so. I get my power from the floor.
Jumps through the wall.
So I was like, you know, I'm waiting to be happy out here. Steve on here. I need to get everyone's number from charity.
So I don't know if you're in a real parking lot, but I'm parking.
What? Are you in a real parking lot? I don't know. I think I'm walking the dumpster.
I'm looking till I saw the dumpster.
Well, they're not gonna get the dumpster tonight.
Yeah, I was like, this is perfect.
It's all good.
Right. We're gonna go ahead and start. Everyone's ready. Sitting in for Don Sutton tonight. So before we go into everything else, rise and do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call for our BZA.
Sure, Don Sutton. Jason Acevedo. Brian Cook.
Here.
Michelle Cook.
Here.
Larry Harmon.
Here.
Jessica Kingsley.
Here.
Quinn Mackin.
Here.
So, order of business for the BZA today, sorry, is election of chairperson and vice chairperson for 2023. And then we will be turning the meeting over to BZC. And I'll just make a quick note for BZA folks. It close to our business. If you stay in the meeting, you're welcome to, but you're okay. So we'll start with the election of chairperson and vice chairperson. So any motions to nominate?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Don Sutton as chairperson for the BZA.
And just to check, who is seated tonight? Is it Jessica or Gwen? Gwen, okay. Okay, Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mrs. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Maka? Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
I'm sorry, they both seated? Or Larry, sorry, Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Oh, it's been a day.
Okay. Is there? Yeah. Thanks. And any motion for vice chair?
I'll make a motion to nominate Jason for vice chair.
I'll second.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mrs. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Maka,
Yes.
and Mr. Acevedo?
Yeah, before we turn over to the BZC, one other thing is we have to sign off on minutes from last meeting, so. This is the minutes from the July 20th, 2022.
Do you want to make a motion to approve?
Yeah. Yeah, and motion to approve the minutes from the July 20th. 2022 meeting.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Okay. See, Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Harmon? Mr. Maka? And, let's see, who am I missing? I'm sorry, I can't see everybody here. Oh, Mrs. Cook? Yes. Yes?
Okay, if there's no other business, we can turn over the meeting to the BZC chair. This time.
Okay, our first order of business is to please do.
Is Steve still, or is he,
He is.
till the end of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Flaherty? Ms. Littleton?
Here.
Mr. Valentine?
Here.
Ms. Kaplan?
Here.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Gosha?
Here.
Next item up here is that we need to also elect a chairperson and vice chairperson for 2023. For chairperson.
I would like to nominate Jerry Valentine as chairperson.
Ms. Kaplan?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Littleton?
Abstain.
Ms. Slopes?
Yes.
And Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Valentine. Okay. Is vice chairperson.
I'd like to nominate.
I'll second that.
Mr. Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Slopes?
Yes.
Ms. Kaplan?
Yes.
And
All right, and next on the agenda is to set the meeting dates for 2023. We have proposed the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. This includes January 10th, January 24th, February 14th, February 28th, March 14th, March 28th, April 11th, April 25th, May 9th, May 23rd, June 13th, June 27th, July 11th, July 25th, August 8th, August 22nd, September 12th, September 26th, October 10th, October 24th, November 14th, November 28th, and December 12th. And all these meetings will start at 7 p.m. Do you make a motion to set those?
we usually have a motion.
Okay. So any discussion on those dates?
Make a motion to approve the dates for 2023 as they are the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month.
Second.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Ms. Littleton?
Abstain.
Ms. Slopes? Ms. Kaplan?
Yes.
All right, next up, we have the approval of GC minutes for 22nd, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Ms. Littleton?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Slopes?
Yes.
Ms. Kaplan?
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved. Next up, we have the introduction of our new zoning inspector. Sherry, would you like to do the introduction?
Yes, I didn't realize I was right at the beginning, but that's okay. This is Jake Bond, he's our new zoning inspector. Good job. 2 weeks, okay. We're super excited to have him, he's been doing a fantastic job, and we will continue to do so in the next year. And
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, it's not on the agenda, but we do need to verify that the meeting was advertised.
Yes, in the, November 29th, 2022 Delaware Gazette.
And then also, we want to squeeze in our adopted policy before we address our hearings tonight for proposals. The adopted policy of Berlin Township Zoning Commission is that each applicant or agenda item will be given 10 minutes or at the discretion of the chairperson to make a formal presentation. The chair will allow questions from the commission members in order to provide a timely and orderly discussion of business for consideration. Finally, we will open things up to the public for public comments. The audience will be given approximately 3 minutes to ask questions, and we will do our best to answer those, the commission and the applicants. And then please try to limit repetitive questions and comments. Before you speak, give your name and your street address for the record. And that covers it. All right. So now, with all that taken care of, we will begin our hearing for DCC case 2-003. This is filed by the Shire LLC with Kari Lindberg at 538 Uxbridge Avenue in Gahanna, Ohio, 3230. The applicant is requesting an administrative review for the overlay district, Old Cheshire Planned Development District, OCPUD. This is for parcel number 418-410-01-018-001 is plus or minus 11 acres and is located at 5441 Cheshire Road in Galena, Ohio, 43021. And this is for an agrarian, did I say that right? Agrarian-based single-family residential community, not to exceed 10 dwelling units with a maximum of 7 village areas known as Shire. And with that, I will turn it over. Oh, sure, yes. Before we turn it over to the applicant, if anyone would like to step out at this point, you're more than welcome. I wanted to add one more thing to just remind you, we are all live being recorded.
This is the first.
Yes, we've got our technology up and running. We're moving to the 21st century. All right.
Very nice. Like, very simple and basically the same room, but it's been updated in many ways. So congratulations on that. Good evening. My name is Tony Ironman. My mailing address, living address is 1907 River Road, that's Delaware 43015. I'm the land planner and consultant to the owner, Ari Linder, and her family. And we are here tonight in regards to the 5441 Cheshire Road site, which Ari and her family own. Before we get too far into this, I'd like to introduce the consulting team who's here this evening. First, I'd like to introduce the most important person is Carly Lindbergh. Here to my right, she's the owner. She and her family are the owner. If you haven't met Carly yet, stick around for a few minutes and she'll introduce herself. She's the most well-known person in Berlin Township. This evening's Nathan Harrington, our civil engineer, couldn't be here. With us are Amy Dutt. She's our landscape designer. Did a terrific job. Our planner is Courtney Wade. Our architect is Jeff Ashmore. And legal counsel Andy Wecker and surveyor is Bob Patridge. And they could not be here tonight as well. Something about Christmas party, maybe, I don't know. This evening, I'm here to present and review with everyone the Shire, which is an 11-acre parcel on the north side of Cheshire Road in Old Cheshire. Kari and her family are native to this area. Their family homestead sits at the bottom of Alum Creek Lake. She grew up on Van Road. A lot of us remember that area before it was a lake, but she homestead is at the bottom of the lake now. She and her family have a vision for this site, which is just slightly east of where she grew up. She and her family grew up. For the Shire, it's a family-oriented, agrarian-based hamlet. Means is this little farmstead. Vision for the Shire consists of 6 residential home sites. They're focused on oriented towards a relocated and restored barn and garden area. Further, 3 of the dwelling sites decided to sensitively allow for walkouts facing into the wooded ravines of Alum Creek Park. Those are the 3 on the western end here. It allows for the house to sit back and still work as a walkout. When they get ready to build it, if they desire that, if not, there's plenty of room to build outside the walkout area as well. And in doing that, they work to protect as many trees as possible in that area. The 6 residential dwellings have an option of, when we propose 10 dwelling units maximum, it allows for a few of those structures to have 2 residential units on each structure. What that's for is for folks in the family who don't want a full-size house, but architectural quality maintains the full-size residential look, and for potential caretakers for the family. But there's no more than 10 dwelling units proposed on this site. We'll come in a little bit. We'll come back to this, but I want to residential architecture, the rural farmhouse vernacular architecture runs on the vision. It's inherent to the vision. Jeff Ashmore is our architect and has brought plans for some of the homes as well as the barn closing for the site. Residential dwelling materials, the typical wood, masonry, stone and brick, hardy plank materials, and smart siding. Aluminum and vinyl siding is prohibited. Metal and vinyl are permitted as materials on soffits and gutters and raised ceilings, but not on the siding. It's typical to just about every other residential community in this whole region. The barn is going to be relocated and restored barn from Knox County, from Utica area. If you know Doug Morgan and Barn Company and their work, he is the structure for the barn is already on site. It's not constructed yet. It is on site. We're getting ready to start the reconstruction of the barn. It has not yet started. It is on site. Barn and the outbuildings are a major element in the vision of the community. It will serve also as a major element to the Berlin Township residents, and it will help to complement Berlin Township comprehensive plan, which one of the main issues has always been to maintain the agricultural and rural character of the community, and that is inherent to that barn. In the houses sit back as a minor element as you drive down Chester Road, with the barn being the focus point. The purpose of the barn, the outbuildings, is most importantly for the support and processing for the on-site garden operations, which is to the east of the barn. And with the garden, as well as the garden's over half an acre, and the house, which allows for entities and plantings as well. Barn will be well used to support the processing operations for the barn. There's also an outbuilding located just to the north of the barn, and that's where all the mechanical equipment that will be necessary, tractor, the tillers, and keep all the dirt and all the grease in that one barn, and barn for all the plant materials and Amy Dutt, our landscape designer, did a terrific job on the landscape plan. As a landscape architect myself, I really appreciate the detail that she did, that she prepared on this site. The garden is retaining much of the wooded and reforested site. Meadow Gardens area east of Red Cedar Copse, which is a small wooded area. It's existing red cedar, and with that, they're coming in and supplementing the planting of that, as well as trees, and getting a short grass prairie area, which brings it back to native conditions of this region, which is really cool. Not many other short grass prairie areas in central Ohio that are planted. I mean, there's some along railroad tracks that have been indigenous to that for many, many years, but not planted that way. And native plantings throughout the site. The plank list is who in my mind are really cool. Site engineering is Rock Engineering, and Nathan Harrington is our engineer. He's coordinated everything with the sanitary, with the Delaware School District, water, roads and stormwater, and they coordinate with the Delaware County Engineer's Office as well as the Berlin Township Fire Department. I understand you got the latest on the traffic study update from many units down to 10 maximum. And I also understand you got the fire department, which you have not gotten the regional planning time. The condominium community, all drives are being maintained privately in the township. The site itself is 11 acres. It's in the neighborhood commercial. We're proposing in the neighborhood commercial district with an Old Cheshire Plan Unit District overlay. As I mentioned before, there's 6 buildings there, 10 units maximum. Gross density is 0.91 dwelling units per acre. I'm sure you don't see me say that very often. And I'm very pleased to say that. The net density is somewhere around 1.0 or 1.1 dwelling units per acre, depending on how you calculate the density, the net density in that acre. There's 9.5 acres of the 11 acres that's outside the building pad areas. And that's not assumed for a minute that the entire building pad will be used for a house. So there's actually more than 9.5 units, or 9.5 acres, it's probably closer to 10 or 10.5. But for the record, it's 9.5 acres of open space. Setbacks comply with all the township zoning resolution. 30-foot fronts, about 25 feet between building pads. Meets the fire department and the side yard setback requirements. 30-foot rear, 15-foot on the accessory structures. Maximum height of the buildings is 35 feet, which is part of your zoning resolution as well. Doesn't include the cupolas, the steeples, and towers. I don't see any steeples and towers with cupolas. There's one on the barn that may get pretty close to 35 feet. But other than that, I don't see anything getting up there. All of our lighting, that was a question, explaining all of our lighting will be residential, will be low. The front porch. There might be a security light on it that would be normally found on an agricultural area. Parking and signage, all Berlin zoning resolution. The question on green energy and residential, we're proposing agricultural scale, so to be not coming in with solar panels up the entire 11 acres, simply located on the roof of the structure. That would service that house or the barn. And the question always comes up, and I still haven't figured out how to deal with it. I'll just throw it out there. The add in there wind, it's an issue. I understand we're not putting in either wind turbines that are out there in the ocean or up in the mountains. Always looking for is a windmill that would go with the agricultural use of the farm. It might provide a little electricity. There's not enough groundwater there, I think, to worry about pumping water out of the ground. If it's an issue and we keep knowing it, we'll just withdraw the windmill from the application. There are no divergences requested. And including that note here, and it's rare that I actually presentations. Normally I write them, but I was so excited and so busy thinking of all the different things I could read my writing. So I had to type it. Something about my attractiveness to this development. The tires are terrific. I mean, a lot of things that are provide a huge asset to Berlin Township. And I'm here to answer any questions. We have Jeff and Amy and Ari and Courtney here this evening to answer any questions. We're here this evening requesting your approval for our application.
Before we start asking questions, I just want to remind the zoning commission that since this is the use of an overlay, this will not be the trustees treat it like a final bill. We'll vote on it. And then it's approved or not. Okay. Anyone like to start it?
I can start. First, Carrie, thank you. Kari, sorry. We talked for probably 6 months about this thing, and I've lived in 2 years, I would say, and this is more in what I moved up here for. Is the community is open, has a lot of open space, and just do what you're doing. So thank you for that. And Tony, you've answered about half of my questions already. Well, okay, so let me start. A meal pie. Consideration been done there about with the residents and stuff?
Our thought would be associated pretty close to the entrance to the barn. So it provides, if you remember on the barn, there's a drive-through area there. So it allows people to get out of their car. If it's raining or snowing, and it allows them to get out without getting wet. So be somewhere in that proximity.
Okay.
It'd be for the 10 maximum 6 building pads.
Okay, but it'll be central, it'll be 6 on the road.
No, we, post office won't allow us to do that anymore.
Okay. And then the regional planning talked about paths. And I noticed there's a path side of it, hooks into Allen.
Going through there, that Amy had been organized, it's for the residents, not the
Okay.
public. But, she incorporated guys through a whole plan.
It was recommended that they at least an easement of some sort, because within Berlin Township, we're trying to but throughout the whole community, and they're trying to encourage developers to put theirs, even though it looks like each end is dead ended. The ultimate is it's going to go all the way through Berlin Township. I didn't see anything in front of that. Like,
You're right. You did.
Okay.
No, in looking at that whole region and designing my fair share of paths over my career, Johnny Cake's Corners has a trail that's on the south side of Cheshire Road, and it extends east-west from Degrees and Cape onto the west. South side really is where that trail belongs. North side, you have Double Eagle Golf Course, and I helped design that back when, and I know he probably put in $50 million or more of golf course and building construction. That was money back then. The tees, the greens, the grounds, the maintenance areas are all located along the north side of Cheshire Road, and it's all fenced off. I don't see ever that trail going through that area because the greens and tees are way too expensive to allow the public in there. The other thing is down at Africa Road and Cheshire on the north side. The state park comes out at the corner, and it's probably 12 to 15 foot drop. That corner right along the right of way. So putting the trail on here would be just be, even if you get it down there, you couldn't get back up to get to the traffic. So it isn't, we're not against easement card, we're against the over a little bit over 1,000 feet of frontage we have getting that and then it goes nowhere.
Probably the south side, that would connect Cheshire Village, there's developments all along there, so it just kind of makes more sense on the south side, because that's where the developments are, it's where there are destinations, and it seems like a better idea.
Is there a schedule on the development of the Shire itself?
That should be in there.
was a long.
It is.
Several years.
The first couple houses are going up, barns going up first. And first two.
And that's how the workshop and then
It's on page
Okay.
Yeah.
the guest house, so we have places to live, or we build our houses.
And then I noticed there's mounting on the east and on the west side, it's all trees.
Yeah.
The front.
If we mounted, we'd kill the trees, so. If you get by there, we even started the mounting. You know, you need more.
Just get extra dirt from the driveways, and so we'll have plenty of extra dirt to put in some more.
That's really all I had.
Okay, I just wanted to ask about the sewer plan. I know it talked about the septic sewer, so for the homes, will you connect to the sewer?
Yes.
And where's that connection?
It's located
Okay.
here, and it comes up
Okay.
here, extends across.
And anyway, I want to congratulate everybody on these native plantings. That is so exciting.
Really.
Developers just don't.
Yeah, and definitely we jackpot with our
Yeah,
landscape architect.
that's pretty amazing, and this is sort of like an encyclopedia of to bring into the township. So thank you, but I
Yep, let me go to one of my questions as I was looking, trying to find where I usually post it. One of my questions was specifically around, the trail. But I very much agree that, I mean, the golf course, all of that fence line is barely off the road.
Yep.
And you can tell that there's so much right behind it, it runs the entire length. And when you look at it across the street, and the neighborhood that's over there at the corner, of Johnny Cake, and coming across Cheshire, the Cheshire has a company. You have so many residential right there that eventually I'm sure there will be a discussion about the those existing homes there. So I can definitely get past, I don't think there's at all from my perspective. I don't know why we would have a trail on both sides right there, especially because that corner and how now it looks like the proposal is going to be a peanut shaped roundabout right there at Cheshire and Africa Road. But that's a proposal that is going to occur because of the location of the sewage plant and the station. That's already going to have some complication right there that if you were to run it along the other side of the road there, that makes more sense. The last time that you have people crossing the road where there's not corners, it just seems more logical. So, not people getting they're being accidents if needed, so not needed. I saw that between building area 5 and 4, it looked like that was for the side flow. And it looks like there's no share driveway. Okay. I did see that. I know typically we call that we want 20%. We would hope that we will have some here. The setback, though, so far off because of it being in my mind, I just use the word compound, basically, a private compound, if you will. I don't foresee it being an issue. But it would be great to have, just to try to maintain. But again, those are things that will, obviously, you can't force people to. It's not a typical development, right? So would love to see those, especially since it doesn't appear they're going to share driveway to be siloed. but also if they're not, anything there. My only other question was, if you intended to have, public coming in that barn at any point, do you feel that you do have sufficient areas from a parking perspective? Obviously, that's not really the purpose, is to have public in there all the time. That was one of the questions that I had, because I know you said there will be four spots, basically. But, you know, the guest parking that you had, that was another thing in your, if you were to have a bus come from one of the schools, right? Would it park along the gravel road near the guest parking?
We're making the driveway extra wide. Plus there's few scattered little, like 2 and 4 spots.
Okay.
Some by the workshop.
Yeah.
There's a couple, and then also some on the north side of the barn. There's a couple spots. And then the driveway being extra wide in that area.
Okay.
I've already had a tractor trailer come in there and just easily move around.
Oh, okay.
So
if
I
there had to be
couldn't
a fire
imagine
truck-
us would have any trouble with that.
Okay, and I thought it was just if there had to be a fire truck, God forbid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. That was what I had. Yeah, I mean, this is, I was so taken back by the plants, all of the plants. I mean, we just don't see something like this, that it just is so wonderful to see. It's very heartwarming, and because it's where, right, our vision is for the township. So it's been wonderful seeing this come to life.
The barn is gorgeous. I think it's very pretty. I think the whole thing would be really nice to see, for the township. I can see why Tony, you would be so excited. There's not often that you're presented with this opportunity to present something to us with very little divergences. So we should thank Kari. Mill, how high would that be if you were to do something?
So I think to stay for right now until someday in the future when they have really perfected wind, we're gonna have solar panels. They're gonna be on the wings of the barn, and then the houses will have solar panels. I can't see, we don't want, big monstrosities at all. And I'm just hoping that someday, I'm hoping someday that there'll be wind and everybody will love the way it is. Until then, we're gonna be doing solar.
Okay.
We'll just for this, and it's more the gray matter than it is any, and I'm sure it's from your side as well. Just not being able to define one of those windmills out there. We'll just remove the windmill from our application. In doing that, it just takes way long, an unknown.
And if something ever comes up that we would want to use, we would just come back and show you our plan and see if it would.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Any comments tonight, as always?
You can go.
All
That's
right.
fine. I'll go last.
A couple questions on the application, the proposed plan is a 7 buildable areas, not 7 lots. It's built areas. Can you subdivide those areas?
Into this proposed condominium development. It's actually 6 build areas unless you want to count the barn.
Right.
But there are 6 build areas plus the barn.
So now you subdivide it, just didn't like the way it was an area.
Subdivide.
The other question was the gravel roads. I don't think the township allowed that at all.
Right. As a condominium, we worked with county engineer's office and the fire department. It's part of the vision to keep it a very rural looking, very rustic looking. We have to get this, I think it's 70,000 PSI for the fire department.
Yeah, to get on.
And we got a structural engineer working on that. They probably already finished it. And our engineers look at it as well. So the fire department has signed off on it, county engineer, because it is a condominium association. It's not public roads. So far, they've been fine with it.
Right. And I understand your dilemma with energy. I work for green energy companies, so I know the windows thing, the monstrosity, big ones, little ones. So, understand.
Just not worth wrestling about it.
It'll never make it better.
And the way that they're surrounded by trees and stuff, it's not, you have to get up so high to catch them.
Yeah.
It isn't the best, best place to get some kind of wind.
At least you have western skies if you want to do the barn to the western.
Yeah.
Western energy in that late afternoon. Something that a lot of people don't do. That's a nice plan. And I'm from Boulder, Colorado, so I see these type of things. It's kind of nice.
Oh, okay.
And the roads are to county standards, like the regional planning requested,
There was,
suggested.
yeah.
Standards, okay.
And our engineers work with Mike Love up in the engineer's office too.
Regional planning also recommended some kind of walkways. Have you considered that for, just from house to house, some kind of solid surface or bikes, wheelchairs, wagons, anything like that?
Just the gravel drive is what we, had in mind.
The base of the gravel drive is basically 304, which is a high base. So it's going to be compacted. The top surface will be a little bit looser stuff, but it's going to be strong enough to accommodate a fire truck as well. So
Well, I know it would be strong. I'm worried about the.
I'm not sure, so I'll say about 910.
And like I said, it will be compacted, so it's the loose gravel, which is hard to get rid of. It's gonna have a base that will be easy. My brother-in-law uses a walker, and I can't see him having any trouble. Getting around.
Okay.
And not chip seal. Not a chip seal. The chip seal.
No,
where they-
yeah.
Yeah, I was concerned with stuff like that, like water, something like that. Let's see. Then. Let me go through each one. You addressed the outdoor lighting, the trail. I'm gonna go back to I'll do the trail now. I would like to get, like, your presentation, you mentioned, specifics about the solar being on the roof, the exterior materials. I think there were a couple other things that you mentioned that aren't specifically in this text. I was wondering if we could have those actually included. Okay. And then will you remind me what the exterior materials are? For the building?
You want me to tell you, or do you?
Now, yeah, will you remind me now?
Let me read it because I read
Okay.
it once, so I'm gonna
Okay.
make sure I get it exactly. And Jeff, please jump in if I've got something I left off, but the intentions are that the exterior materials for the residential dwelling units are wood, masonry, which is stone and brick. Hardy materials, hardy furniture materials, or smart siding materials, which are both composite materials that look like wood. Long-lasting materials, very low maintenance on all these. Is there anything else that you can enlighten us on?
So you just have to make a decision whether they want to stain something, possibly to last a lifetime, or repaint the hard glass.
I'm sorry, who was that again?
That's Jeff Ashmore, he's our architect. Maynard used to be kind of went like this. You're welcome.
And did you mention the colors too? I know you guys haven't presented marquee colors, but I think it should be in the text that it will be.
Earth tones, white down to earth tones, basically.
I would, yeah, I
Maybe
would,
the inside of it, not the outside.
I would like to see
Should we
that
keep it at that?
Yep.
textualized. Okay. That secured that. Okay, I had a question that this just kind of, I haven't come across this before. The building pad that's on each person, on the J, it says the building pad width for each residential site is 5 feet minimum. What's like, usually, I feel like we have a maximum building pad.
Yeah, the maximum lot, because they're condominiums, I didn't want to refer to it as a lot. Really, a lot includes all the side yards and everything. We're doing, we're seeing the building pad, which is the dashed area in there, minimally is 5. If you wanted to kind of compare it with single family lot, we added 12.5 each side for side yard setback. It would be equivalent of about 100 foot width lot. Okay, and I'm saying that to not make it part of the record, just to help you understand. Relatively speaking, it's that size of the house that we're allowing for. It allows for flex space in that pad or in an envelope in case there's a tree or something we want to keep. We can shift it to the other side, but we're always going to keep 25 feet between pads. They're basically a minimum of 75 feet wide.
Can we define a maximum? I feel like we should define a maximum. I don't know. Does that make sense?
There's no real lot.
No real lot.
It's
But I
11
guess,
acres of land with
We can say a building pad 75 foot to or something like that. And this last one, I don't know the numbers. Off the top of my head. One here is pretty substantial relative to the narrowest one, which is over here, which is 75.
I just don't want to end up with a like crazy long, humongous house, which I'm sure that's not the intention, but.
Those are your pictures, that top one is kind of like forever.
Right, yeah, we would want that for residential structure, right? Or,
Length
I
of
don't
the
know.
house.
I'm
Does
not,
it make sense?
I don't think I'm concerned about that. What I'm more concerned about then is that if they are trying to, I was gonna say if they're trying to avoid cutting down trees, I don't want it to be where there's not a maximum, where a minimum of 25 feet. As long as we weren't paying a maximum, I don't want you then getting over too far past where we have the ground right there, because then you're getting too close to wetlands. And
There's enough empty land and, having talked with tree experts, there's not anything really major to worry about taking around. There's enough empty space pretty much, to be able to process houses.
There are, especially back towards the ravine, there are some nicer trees. They're not in a mature wooded forest area like that. Mature trees are spaced adequately. Areas.
They're closer to the
Yeah.
ravine,
Yeah,
and so the open area.
the southern area of the line of, I know this because I picked up a few, which I hobbled for a day or two and kept thanking Kari for all the wonderful thoughts. But there are plenty of hawthorns and honey locusts and typical succession pine trees you would have in kind of a transitional area. There's plenty of that in there too. And those we're not so concerned about cutting out. but, the oaks and the big maples, like the generational trees are the ones we want to keep and allow ourselves a little flexibility to work. So if you want, we can try to put a minimum maximum. Let's put a statement that we won't go any further past that. Where the location of the turnaround is, we can do that too.
I don't know. I guess after kind of discussing it,
If we vary too far off of this, then we're contrary to the development.
if you guys aren't. Yeah, I'm after. Yeah. All right. Thanks for talking that out with me.
It's a good question.
I'll say it out for later.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking.
So, okay. My last, actually, while you were giving your presentation, you mentioned bulk outs. Is that, you mean like the land is sloping down and maybe the basement, it would be.
Yes,
bulk out
that's all.
basement? Okay.
And I can pretty much tell you that they're gonna be on slab for, very, ADA accessible. I really can't see how you can, kind of where the walkout means, then you have lots of stairs and things like that. So, and that would also be putting into the ravine and things that we don't want to do, so I highly doubt that it's making.
That makes engineering the foundation of the house way more difficult
Yes.
too. My first house was on a ravine and we had some issues. So, yeah. I understand that. Let's see. I guess the last thing I have, I think, is to discuss the trail. So you guys provide some valid arguments, and I'm not 100% disagreeing with them about having planning for the trail to be on the south side of Cheshire. I am not very familiar with the golf course and how it's laid out and everything. But to me, especially with the construction of the Peanut at Africa and Cheshire, I don't think we would have an issue with corner there on the north side if we had a trail there eventually. And I don't know, to me, it seems like fewer property owners are impacted if we plan as a township to have a trail on the north side. There's a lot of homeowners and the businesses right on the corner, on the south side, that will be impacted if we have a trail down there. I know there is some on the corner of, or at the corners of Johnny Cakes. I know that's there already, but we kind of have this all over the township and surrounding areas too. There's just random trails everywhere because no one has reached the point in the trail phases or their trails planning, things like that. I feel like we would typically require this of any other developer to have a trail along Cheshire on your property, to have a multi-use path.
I did some quick calculations this afternoon, and that trail across the 1,000 feet of our frontage is going to be probably close to $200,000 to $225,000 if it's installed. The spreading that over 6 houses is $30,000 to $40,000 per house for a trail that doesn't go anywhere.
Can I
And
show
it-
you
it's-
this?
it's-
I just pulled up, I just pulled it up on my map with satellite. So you can see that, so the fence is right there, this is the ditch. They have all of their, like their, as he was saying, to move back the golf course is gonna be right on 8 foot up in there. And you see these houses are further back.
Does the township have an easement for the golf course if they could move them back?
You're talking about a lot.
I know it's a long ways because they got the house there.
Yeah, and there's more plans, we just, they just added some, classes for their staff.
Yeah.
They're doing some expansion, I know, on there, and I don't
Yeah.
foresee that.
Groundskeepers stay in the White House. They're from all over the world. They intern.
As someone who's just recently looked over all of those plans, pages of them, I'm not sure I see that. Feasibility of that, just,
Of putting a trailer.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Really difficult.
So this is straight, this is where the lot is, and you can see here, there are houses that are much further back.
You have the shops to the west.
Yes, there are these shops that, this is all state land right here, and there's no difference going on there.
Well, I mean, we would have to work with Allen Creek State Park and Army Corps of Engineers. We have plans of doing, the trail situated there, but, we're not necessarily right there, but throughout the paper. And connecting into them and stuff.
Allowing for an easement,
I mean, I would certainly feel more comfortable with that.
an easement, yes. Requesting an easement on, the shop versus requiring them to put in. I think I would feel much better about an easement, saying, if we were to at some point be able to, if was an agreement, then it would be, like, where's the money gonna come from? But I agree, I do have a hard time saying, not looking at the land as it's laid out right now, and yes, we can put something heavy across in front of yours, but it, from the way that this is all laid out, it appears as though from a map that we would have crossing that with a lot. Just where there's more of a safety. And that's just my perspective though. That's just my point of view.
Could we approach this in a kind of a mutually agreeable way that part of the conditional approval of this is we have a agreement that will provide an easement if an easement is provided from a golf course. Doing it that way, it's memorialized in the text. And if you get I don't want to cover the property with an easement that isn't going to go anywhere. If we can have an agreement that if you get the golf course, provide the easement as well, at that point, I think it's pretty fair. It secures it for you, but it doesn't put it
If you
in the
never get the
property.
easement from the golf course, there's no reason to encumber your property. That's probably not gonna happen, but at least it holds out the possibility.
Yeah,
If
we're
it's
just,
ever- if it's ever
yeah,
happened.
we're so early in the process of, the trails plan, we were looking at this, from Morpsey to help us, set realistic expectations and goals and all that stuff. So, I would be okay with that. Let's make sure. Okay. Any other comments from the commission before we turn it over to the public? Public comment? Okay. With that, I'd like to remind you guys, if anyone has something to add, please, before you speak, state your, before you start, your name and address. And, with that,
You need them to come here.
I don't know, no, you could just stand up, maybe, I think that's okay. All right.
Do you want to use your boards? Do you want to face them this way so they can help see them? You can set them on top of the chair, hang them in the chair or something.
That's the barn.
Oh, yeah, there, Jerry, perfect. No, you're assigned.
And now you're.
Say what?
Darcy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
You can do it.
I think we still say one here.
Everybody needs me to use around and show you how to do that.
Is there any public comment?
Hi, Amy Eichen, 61 Westgate Drive, Delaware. Wow, I haven't seen the picture. This is so exciting. So I met Kari earlier this summer. And I've been vocal in the township about us retaining our agricultural roots and really being mindful of what we are doing in the township and losing that field. So Hooray, for your vision and what you're putting together, I hope there is a snowball effect and we'll get on board with this because it's doable, it's beautiful, it's going to be such an asset to our community. So thank you so much for having your vision and following through with that. And I can be more thrilled. Thank you.
And I just want to say that it was kind of laid out with the way that everything is. When you drive along Cheshire Road, you'll see the driveway is going to be a couple acres of garden and a driveway and then a barn. And then you won't really see the houses. So, I mean, that to me is very rural. So County kind of look like farmland, gardens, and nice old barns in the early 1800s.
When that barn's finished, we need like a little walk through.
Oh, yeah.
The
meetings there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's also your opportunity to invite everybody to farm raising.
Yes, we're gonna have a old fashioned Amish farm raising and maybe close down Cheshire Road, depends. Invite the whole neighborhood out, so that it'll be a couple day process.
So I'm sort of a foreigner, I moved to Delaware 6 years ago. And I always thought of it as the just about where you could get here in 5 or 10 minutes. It's just wonderful. It's a walking town, and I am lucky enough that I have a little half acre just on the northwest section, and I'm also so so my landscape is native. It becomes my home to see butterflies, all sorts of wonderful habitat. And it just, I don't know about you, but as I drive around here and turn country, you turn corner, and there's another bunch of those you know, and I lose to think, oh my gosh, there's going to be houses looking on other houses, and there's not going to be any much garden space to have fruits in my yard. So anyway, this just so near and dear to my heart, and I really hope you're looking at to have this vision
early enough and the support so that we can continue to enjoy those nice live and so we're really excited about this. This is really fascinating to listen to all your questions, and I appreciate, the care and concern. Well,
Can you give your name?
oh, sorry, yes, Therese Spalding, and address you need?
Yes.
72 West.
I'm sorry, what was her last name again?
Spalding.
Spalding, okay, thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay. All right, so we need to add in some conditions and things.
It's calling out, you just doing that.
Let me ask a question. It's not a proposal, just a question. If we were to take the recess to allow you to go to the next item on the agenda and come back, I know there's a formal process. And at the time that the other item on the agenda is presenting, we might get this written up to present it to you. So list of conditions. I was trying to take good notes while we were speaking. So if you'd like to do that, we can do that.
That sounds good. Yeah, we have to make a motion for a recess or just?
You can just take a recess.
Okay.
So then,
what do I say?
so
I
do
mean, I
so,
haven't done this before.
She made the guy real loud. Just say what was going
so we can just,
Table
this
it
is,
for,
and
But if we have another.
Yeah,
that
that is
is-
table it until after this hearing.
What's the
Just table for a few minutes.
Adjourn on this presentation, then
To table
not to table,
No.
just to adjourn the presentation, give the applicant time to put their terms and conditions in the order that's presentable to you all.
You don't know Mike is an excellent attorney. I'm sure.
Red Robert rules of order.
so then.
We come up with new stuff every time.
Okay, then, I will make a motion to adjourn our hearing with Shire. So they can
Put the amendments
come
together.
up with their amendments together for a presentation later.
There's two main ones. The one is going to be
Moving the windmill, adding in text specifying.
the golf course. Easement, then they.
Yeah, add and specifying construction materials and, yes, and colors.
Do you want anything with this?
So that's what the first one was.
Specify that the solar panels will be on the top. So I made a motion. I second. So you made a motion, she said.
Yeah, who seconded? Ms. Litterman?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Valentine?
Yes.
Ms. Kaplan?
Yes.
Ms. Hobbs?
Yes.
In your motion, if you want to reconvene,
Yeah.
the date specific, because you're adjourning.
Yeah, you're just, right, you stopped. Now, you can-
And we will reconvene.
Yeah.
15. After the formal presentation. Yeah, we will reconvene on the formal presentation with
So reconvene
and I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I haven't been around.
It's your last meeting, it's just done.
Okay. So now we will go to our next agenda item, which is an informal with the zoning commission with Mike Shade from 526 Eastwood Road. Parcel number 418-330-01-031-000 and parcel number 418-330-01-030-000.
Good evening. My name is Michael Shade. My law office address is 236 West Central Avenue, Delaware, Ohio. Most of the presentation this evening is going to be by Todd Ferris. This is the property now. It's the old Sherman property up right behind 23. There's Connor Lane, there's the cemetery that sits right behind that, and the south side is the mobile home park. On the east side will be connectivity to Berlin Meadows, and it's that stretch of land in between. And there's also some land that the client has also acquired. The client is Peach Blow Road, LTD. And you have to spell it kind of funny because the road is capitalized. And Peach Blow Road, all one word. And to the north is the city of Delaware. And in this general area, the latest counts I saw, US 23 has approximately 75,000 residents. There is a light at Greif Drive or Parkway, and there is supposed to be a connectivity over to this side of the road, but that is all in limbo, kind of looking at what ODOT is going to do with 23. We hope it will be better than what they did with the area when the proposal north of town, which they spent months and months and months on through it. So we're going to let Todd talk. There are several proposals. Some of the discussions were formulated on the basis of comments back from commissioners is a 23 area. They're not opposed to housing. They want to see commercial possible up and down the 23 corridor in the township. And they made it very clear in the presentation that I did before them just recently. So I'm going to let Todd talk, and if you have any questions, we have an answer.
Just a little feedback on the microphones and video. Can we, the Shire folks, the Shire, Tony, your group, would you be sitting over there to converse, just based on the proximity to the microphones? It might be best if they present from that podium and you guys go a little bit. Or I mean, I could let you go in those.
So, by the way, I hope you got more success in Delaware. Put those in, and are now back to individual microphones. And a lot of money.
Smaller scale.
So with this, I just wanted to make sure I'm just kind of getting my bearings on this. It Is this across from Belmont Place right there?
Yeah.
Where-
Yeah, Belmont
Okay,
State.
that's, yeah, exactly, where this is, yes, okay, that's where I was on my phone, and I'm like, I think that's where you're at.
That's all city of Delaware.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not what they're proposing.
But that's speaking from that house.
So yeah, I met with them with an informal too as well, and we figured it might be good to get some of your feedback, in person as well. And it's a very unique little spot for sure.
Okay, well, I'm Todd Ferris, Ferris Planning and Design, 4876 Cherry Road. I don't know if we're taking notes or not.
Yeah.
We are, okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what. this is like the-
I'll be professional. Okay. Kind of, as professional as I can be.
It is
Yes, it is informal. This is kind of an area plan that's gonna kind of show you what we're talking about, so you have a better visual than Mike's attorney explanation out of his head. I got lost, I can do it. A little bit more. We're talking about 80 acres. That's right off of 23. Here's 23. Here's Peach Blow Road. There's the Belmont Estates that we're talking about. This is Winterbrook Place. It's under construction now. Obviously Berlin Meadows, which you guys approved not too long ago. The Greenery, which you approved not too long ago. And then future multifamily, which is Shotstein Homes, Wilcox, whatever. There's a bunch of stuff that's happening here, right? So here's this piece of ground that's kind of locked in between everything. We're going to put an Etch-a-Sketch right here. The township comprehensive plan, where it's 7B is the exact area we're talking about. It has a bunch of X's through it, and it says plan commercial, this whole area. And then it shows a roadway here, like that. So this is a roadway. This whole piece of ground is a roadway, really. That's the only direction. Oh, and then it says connect Connor Lane up to here, so we can put a cul-de-sac so those single-family houses don't have access to 23. So that's the entire direction that we get from your comprehensive plan. The property's about 80 acres. The frontage of it that actually touches 23 is not owned or controlled by the entity that's bringing this forward. It's owned by somebody else. So there will need to be something that connection from 23 probably won't happen with this. So we're probably looking at connections to the north, and then Berlin Meadows ultimately, and then providing one to Worthington Arms, because part of this is that Worthington Arms access is actually supposed to come from the north here. And then when these lots sell, and there will be direct access to 23. We put together a series of 4 different kind of ideas on how to look at this. And these mean nothing. They really do mean, well, they mean something. We want to get your opinions and reactions is what it is, okay? And none of these are thought out by any means. They're just to get reaction. Maybe with the first one, I can show you some of the limitations or the opportunities we have with the site itself. And they're varying degrees. If you see how professional I did these lots right here. Yeah, and I don't mind that density or anything like that here. So, but anyways, we know that we've got a roadway that's coming in here. It's got a line with Drake Parkway. We know that's an 80-foot right of way. It's going to probably be a boulevard. Okay. We know we have to get down here. We know we got to tie into Berlin Meadows because we've got a stub down there. And we come off of somewhere up here off of Peach. Is that Peach Blow? Yeah, that is Peach Blow. And then the Connor Lane. One thing that we've looked at is what makes sense as far as commercial, if this really is commercial. Is the whole thing commercial? Is part of it commercial? Whatever. And we're one tier off of 23. So what can we be back there? You know, usually you see when you're one tier off of 23, that's when you start getting into maybe some of your bigger stuff like the Menards or Kroger's or whatever. Or you start getting into some of your smaller stuff, which is like your Flex Warehouse, things like that. But we're looking for, you know, in this instance, a little bigger play where maybe this is a grocery store or something like that. We don't know that has access, you know, off of your future. And in the interim, we've provided, you know, public roadway through here. Then off of that, we've got a couple of what we're saying is single-family condominium sites because we can't lot it off of this roadway. There's no way the township or the county will ever let us have lots off of this. this thing. This is going to be a non-loaded roadway, more than likely. Well, we know that. I just know that without even talking to the township or the county. This one probably is too. And in this one, we've taken this roadway on the south side of this potential commercial next to the mobile home park. Okay, maybe single family here that ties in with what's been done at Berlin Meadows or Berlin, what call that one. So that's concept A, for whatever it's worth. It gives you the overview. Okay, there is one constraint on the site. There's a big drainage ditch that goes through here. I think that's on a ditch maintenance program to have been petitioned, whatever. I don't know exactly what that means. All I know is it means something big is happening there. So that's really our biggest constraint. There's a small drainage way here that we, probably should recognize, but it's not as big of a deal. Option E is more of a what you think you would see, I guess is what I would call that. Where we come in, this roadway is more of a, again, a collector road, but where we just have outlots off of it. Behind that, maybe we have a multi-family development, which is either townhouses or it could be multi-story, multi-family. Here we're looking at either independent living or single-family condos, something that's catered more towards 55 and older, and then more traditional single-family that's wrapped around the back, which actually serves as an ability for us to get from Berlin Meadows to this road. Okay, so we still got to get this back and forth connection. How do we do it? I don't think I really like going through a subdivision, but it does solve that dilemma. Concept C, again, we come in more of a traditional retail center, probably. Again, with the roadway, we've lined it up with Belmont Estates to the north, which, is it here, is it there? I don't know if that matters much. If it's over here, that allows us to access a development parcel before anything else is developed. But again, we're looking at probably a single family type of condos up here, which is 55 and older. Townhouse condos, which we buffer the back of a retail center between us and then the single family that's proposed there. Again, more of kind of what you would expect. Today we looked at another one, and this is the one that the client I think is more excited about. It doesn't get into anything in the code, imagine that, but whatever, that's okay. Might as well go there. This is where we come in, obviously off of this or this way, but this roadway now becomes functional from the standpoint of it's more like, let's say, what's the one in Dublin? Oh, Bridge Park Light. Bridge Park Light. Okay, it's almost like a don't tell that he'll go straight to his head, but like the little urban area of Evans Farm too, where now the buildings define the roadway. The roadway isn't just a thing that drives through different uses. These are probably multi-story type of things where below is primarily probably office or commercial, and then above could be the condos or multifamily. That's in the red areas, and then over here, transition to either single family condo or single family. But what this does now is creates a place to be instead of stuff in boxes like a lot of these other ones did. Yeah, to be honest with you. Again, this doesn't fall into any category of a zone you guys have. Okay, not that we can't figure something out, right? It's harder than it. This is probably what you would expect. Same with this one. This one's a little different. It introduces multi.
I don't feel like, I just want to say this.
Go ahead.
I feel like B is not going to be sufficient at all from a roadway perspective. Like you said, to push traffic through neighborhoods doesn't make sense. That one seems like it's just not a good option.
So it just indicates to you the plan approved by Berlin Township shows the connector road over coming from Berlin Meadows to this area. So it is designed that way.
Oh, yes, I'm saying definitely a connection, but option
Yeah.
B.
Option B could be modified to
Yeah, and that would
do
be
that,
okay,
it could.
by going up and around and through and.
Part of my thought process as planner is how do you start minimizing roadways that don't need anything, too, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point, and that could be overcome. Question is single family the best thing that's, well, I mean, this is a decent transition. Single family to a more of a multifamily to just a smaller retail, there's not a whole lot of commercial. Because we are far enough back off of 23 that, how do I get people back there to begin with? And then without this connection, I'm not gonna get that user till that's done. Unless I can create something that draws it. I can see the validity on that happening even without the connection off of 23. Where I can start some of it off Beachwood, Beachwood Road, and moving on down. That just the icing on the cake. When you get to that other. But, again, these were just simple ideas we're throwing out there. It's a reaction as to, does anything make sense? We don't think it's all an entire 80 acres. I don't know how we would do that.
How much of it's buildable? And it's 80 acres.
80, well, the stream corridor is probably going to take out 5 to 10 acres, say that. We haven't done a wetland study on it yet. I know there's probably something over here, but I don't know how that is yet. If it's something that's going to be protected or something. There's probably 70, 65 and 70. 65 acres of retail, it's big retail. Really.
Option D, are you picturing that being more of a destination?
Well, I think so. Yes. That's why we would have the central green, this, you see those places like in Carmel, Indiana, or wherever, where, these buildings are looking like central green, and that is where there's a farmer's market, or we have a skating rink in the winter, or whatever. This can be something. It is a place. Yeah. Not something you drive through, but something you drive through.
And that's just it, is being, I know you said this is not at all what we're currently zoned at, but if we could make that land a destination, not just throw a bunch of more houses in it, because of the location of being just off 23 that is highly commercial already, and help bring more commercial taxes into the township on the outer edges. I don't know that that's a bad thing.
And
There's good and bad to everything, right?
Right, well, absolutely, yeah.
It would also be nice with as many communities that are around. I mean, it takes so long to get to go anywhere commercial that it would be nice to have a destination that's a little bit closer that, is nice to be at. I mean, so if we're gonna have somewhere instead of these, multifamily, that might be kind of a nice idea. We could make it work.
The area the Belmont Estates was, that was going to be a regional shopping area. And with the downtick in 2008, that kind of went away on the dodo. You have to also understand that there are nuances that are outside of even the city's control, or work in township control. The roadway coming in that Todd showed coming in from 23 is now not 80 feet, but 100 feet long. The utilities are currently piping from up 23. Then we learned during the process that local water wants a 12-inch water main to come through this property, to go onto areas and service in Berlin Township further to the east, to provide adequate water flow and pressure. And so these are little nuances. The other thing is that in the northeast corner, is an industrial concern. And so you know, you have to, whatever housing is there, you have to think of it differently than you would, in my opinion, than you would in other areas that we have here. We also have to understand that people are not going to be really top buck to be up against 75,000 cars a day whizzing by. So,
And one thing that jumps out to me, it's not necessarily specifically about any one of these plans, but just having the transition, especially from Berlin Meadows, having transitional housing to whatever there may be in there. I think that's important.
Right.
And
you
just
can
keep
all,
that in mind in whatever.
Yeah, how do we go from these single family, whatever it is?
you can also
And,
do
yeah,
that.
this doesn't show any. A wall. Great wall for it.
So that gray area is not controlled by you, is that?
That is owned by, well, the heirs of Judy Hill.
Oh, okay.
More or less. Very simplified version.
It would be nice if you knew what was.
Yeah.
They want to sell it, they don't want to
Oh,
develop it.
okay, yeah. But the roadway is already there.
No.
Okay, so it's not.
But it's been
planned.
dictated that it has to go there.
Okay, so that, I guess it's,
The question is, when is somebody going to step up? I know there's been negotiations on this side to build it, purchase the right of way, they just want to sell the whole thing, and they've got a really price tag. So,
One other thing that, the county's thoroughfare master plan talks about. And it was an issue, and I think Gary and I were probably the only in this room that could remember it. But when they, took away the left in, left out off the mobile home park, ODOT promised, and I did hard enough, I can get the news articles, they promised that there would be connectivity back to the people that live in the mobile home park to go through. Right? Then they also want to build a Aggie Road south. And so the ones that we build are being proposed here would serve the northern areas of this. So there's a lot of moving parts here. But we're here to ask you to give us your thoughts.
I mean, roadways and access seem. Start to wrap your head around this.
oh, well, actually, they're not that different. There's only one unknown. It's not an unknown, it's just when. So technically, we know where they hook up. It's just what do we put in that makes sense? And what makes sense to us may not make sense to the township.
And you also not get like at Peach Flow and if it curves around into Glen Road Parkway, there will be no light. So if the traffic has to turn right or somehow get across, to go south. But the logic is that it's going to go up and turn around, come about at, Cuyahoga Boulevard, come back down. So,
What's interesting about this right now is that literally all this stuff is zoned. You can, there's some sort of industrial, now granted, they're like barns that they're using for other things. It's just interesting what's happening there right now, and what zonings are. Is that the character? Obviously, at some point, that stuff's obsolete and it's going to become modernized. But, does that start setting the character for, it will become a character? I mean, it's your northern boundary. So we can set the stage with that.
That's the career center, north, right?
yes.
I told her to put a label on that. She didn't see that.
Oh.
I swear.
I agree, I like the idea of they're stepping down with housing. Commercial B, that roadway from north to south, towards the middle, or towards the property. 3. Then maybe having some stairs and housing, be then the first portion, the side of Berlin Meadows there, and then commercial.
Yeah, so it could be, you step up from the single family to whatever, townhouse, I don't know, just the townhouses, then from that you go to this thing, a floor or two of stuff above it, and I don't think it gets any taller than that, to be honest with you. We're definitely not at Dublin Bridge Park, but, you know, 3 stories isn't unthinkable. I don't know.
I would say 4.
It's only 10 more feet, come on, think about it.
I just purpose that in the business park, so I don't think that.
But it could be a really cool vision, it could be all the same thing, again, that you can see up in 123, so.
Yeah, I like that vision on D. I always say you want to stay rural, so I. keep it rural.
Well, we can make them look like barns, we can make them look like this barn right
Yes,
here.
yes. I mean, you said, you know, a community center, skating rink or things like that. I think there's possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, in the architecture, think of it like old Dublin, old downtown Dublin, where they keep that architectural character. That could be a theme where that stuff happens. So you got the mix of the, you know, the board and bat and wood siding, and, you know, the rubble stone or whatever, and more of a, instead of a modern and old, you know, architecture actually come with zoning is supposed to be character. But because we'd have to establish it, we wouldn't know any of the stuff that looked like it would all happen at once.
Surely we do want some commercial in there. Obviously, we got this vision to help with the tax base, adjacent. It makes a lot of sense. So
I would want to make sure there's not too much going on. I know there are some woods offering the cemetery, but I wouldn't want it to be too,
where is this?
too much going on.
The cemetery is, cemetery is right here, but I think this piece of property is owned by a group. And mine says is a church or a mausoleum? A mosque. So yeah, a church.
Okay. I didn't realize that was.
Yeah, so there's going to be something here and that'll have to be the counter lane through there. You know? Okay. I mean,
I agree with Darcy. I think E is the best one of the 4 from what vision would be that we have more commercial.
Should we bring 5 or another 5 or 6 in?
No, I'd say that.
Please don't. No, I'm saying, yeah, you don't have to pick one.
Well, you might, when you ask them first.
Yes, no, I did. You're right.
If you could take A and merge it partially with one, you're probably, where you have some.
A transition.
A transition area.
So that's your concern. It's a
Berlin
transition.
Meadows and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And that can be true. Okay. Thank you.
And maybe also kind of like merge what Kari's doing.
We will, we'll do it, we'll do a tall grass meadow. Thank you.
That's gonna be it's only so many dollars.
Yeah. It's more of a joke, but to have that destination community, you know, could have that downtown sort of feel. That's, as we were creating the vision for the business park, and how it would look down 36, 37. And again, we don't have the architectural standard for that yet, but knowing what was kind of the vision for it, right? If we could do something like that, and because we talked about that being a pathway into Berlin, and have this be another outlet of a pathway into Berlin.
Speaking of pathways.
No,
Make sure those are in there.
Sidewalks. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's that way.
Yeah.
I know there are some, multi-trails north, in the lower area. Yeah, so it would be nice to be able to tie into those. Yep.
I'm assuming we'll have to deal with that committee at some point.
Parks and Trails.
Man, I hope so. We're really looking to get this, more seats.
And a bridge over.
Maybe better than
I just want to go bridge over seats.
I know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think now. I'd like to make a motion to say reconvene regarding our application with the Shire.
Oh, sorry.
Ms. Littleton?
Yes.
Ms. Brown? Ms. Lewis? Ms. Gamble? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Where's your dog?
He's in the.
Oh.
It's warm in there, he doesn't mind the cold weather, and, I think we have to, in a meeting for hours.
We have, I'm sorry, didn't jump right in.
Go ahead.
We have documented 6 conditions based on the conversation we had. Exactly writing as we were talking, so I'll go through these. I'm sorry if you want to make copies. You can all read them if you'd like that first. I'll just go through the 6 items. One's kind of a long. First one is the mail pods for the Shire shall be located in association with the entrance to the barn. 2, which is the big issue, an easement for a multi-purpose trail on Cheshire Road shall be provided by the Shire to Berlin Township upon receipt by the Berlin Township trail easement from Double Eagle Golf Club. Captured. 3, remove all references to wind and windmills in the Shire development. I thought that's just a big broad brush text. No, you can't, but you have to have a clown's mouth. Item 4 was residential dwelling shall be constructed with exterior materials including wood, masonry, hardy plank materials, mark siding materials. Aluminum and vinyl siding are prohibited. Metal and vinyl are permitted as materials for soffits, gutters, and raised seam roofs. Exterior colors for all structures shall be earth tones and white. Item 5 is remove the building pads from the steep slopes. So we'll change the plan so it excludes that. The top of the slope is shown on that plan, so we'll just use that. And then the last one is the 2 building pads will include site load garages or site load homes. That's all we documented in, I'll give this to Jerry.
You want me to go make a quick copy or two?
We need the original.
Okay,
We
but
have to have the original. Sign.
do you want a copy? What do you want?
Yeah, maybe I can
give you-
sign it.
After you sign it, get it. Yep.
That's the sign button.
Yep, you guys should
You
sign
should
it.
make it an exhibit.
Yeah.
Exhibit
I think
E.
I need to sign it. Oh.
I can't read my chickens, I apologize.
Because that was just the.
No Herbal's coffee on it.
But.
Our zoning inspectors concur to be exhibit E.
That,
Because exhibit D was the last one.
I don't know about the D versus the E, but I'm assuming if.
Well,
the
just
last
the
one
way
is
it's
D,
decided.
this
Is bylaws.
Okay.
So,
And I was just saying like, this passes and this is final plan, you're good to go, and they just have to vote on it.
If Sherry, if this passes, I'll type this up.
Oh,
I guess you don't.
I'll type it up tomorrow. Email it.
also with the official copy. We get those.
Put it like what?
Would you like us to vote on this?
Carter, to see you in a few months.
I was like, I have a backup waiting.
The table and an umbrella out there already.
I saw the.
Did you see the lights?
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve VCC case 22-003 filed by the Shire LLC, Lindbergh, 538 Uxbridge Avenue, Ohio 43230, I'm just gonna read this. The applicant is requesting an administrative review for the overlay district, Old Cheshire Land Unit Development District, OCPUD, parcel number 418-410-018-018-001, plus or minus 11.0 acres at 5441 Cheshire Road, Galena, Ohio, 43021, for agrarian based single-family residential community, not to exceed 10 units with a maximum of 7 build areas as the Shire. In addition, we will submit exhibit E with the conditions, can I just say previously read by the applicant? And I think that's it, right?
Second.
Ms. Littleton,
Yes.
Mr. Valentine,
Yes.
Ms. Catlin,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, is it?
It's getting heavy.
Thank you. So I hate that. I'm sorry.
We're almost done. Guys.
Okay, is there any other business?
and then.
I'm giving them the copy.
And then, technically, you can.
Okay, so, okay, so what's your next step in all of this?
Okay. Is there any other business from the zoning commission?
Well, just to miss you. Thank you for all the
Thank you. Thanks for teaching me all kinds of stuff and supporting me. I'm gonna miss it. I may pop into some meetings here and there.
You still work on the parks and stuff?
Yeah, I am still on the Parks and Fields and the architectural review board for the business park. So also here, is there any business from our zoning assessor?
Add a lot of busyness in the next few months for you guys with the zoning commission, not as much on the home side or anything. But maybe it's close season
And that just moving forward with the sound stuff, we need to just make sure anything is public or anything, we'll have them step up forward. So the microphone can hear them. And beyond that, just anytime we have like somebody actually presenting, we'll have them stay up there. So that we can hear them online.
And Jake, at some point, I think the whole group would like to get a demo, like we did in case you're not here for a meeting. Because this is, the plan is, this is live every meeting from here on out.
We'll be live on Facebook, we'll be live on YouTube, and,
And it's recorded.
yeah, it'll be recorded, so we can have copies of every single meeting.
And then we'll just have a YouTube channel.
So we'll be able to, yeah, yeah, you should.
Well, we're happy to have you with
Thank you very
us.
much.
Yes.
Excited to be here.
And are you gonna sign up with a 5-year contract or something?
Actually, not a law enforcement, so this is all brand new for me, so.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to welcome Jenny and Keith officially, official members of the commission.
And Megan's posting on the website.
Do we have
So
any-
if you know anyone, what do you think?
Viewers.
Maybe I'll.
There you go.
So, I'll put a plug in, they definitely, sounds like you had, there were a good amount of people that had some trails.
Yeah, we just lost, members.
Yeah, and it went to vice president.
Yeah, the vice president, yeah, and another member. She had, I think she only ended up with one meeting.
Okay.
The other one that left.
Okay. But yeah, so, all right, we definitely are looking for help.
Oh, yeah.
So can I use my new address?
So you.
You have to, because I think you have to.
I know, that's a good idea.